Hi, I'm Lisa Garr, and welcome to The Aware Show, a weekly show that brings you transformational tools and techniques that you can actually use today to inspire your positive growth and change in yourself and in others. Every single week, I will bring you new, cutting-edge information that will help you improve the quality of your life in any way you choose. Do you want incredible health, connected relationships, flourishing finances, cutting-edge science? Whatever it is, consider the Aware Show to be your trusted place for lifelong learning, because for over a decade, I have built trusting relationships with my guests and with my audiences. And if you're just new to the Aware Show, or if you've been a fan for a long time, I always encourage you to listen to your own truth and to stay aware.
Hello, my name is Raymond Aaron, a New York Times top 10 bestselling author, but I'm not here to talk about myself. I'm here to talk about you and to talk about growing. And to grow, there has to be something you want to get away from and something you want to get to, and you have to really want it. And in order to cross that barrier, what I've noticed is that you have to be branded. People on the bad side of growth aren't branded. People on the good side of growth are branded. Now you might say, what's a brand? You know that Nike is branded and Lamborghini is branded and Kellogg's is branded, but you might say, well, I'm just a doctor. How can I get branded? I'm a dentist, I'm a plumber. What does that mean? And all the books out there do a bad job for you because they use as their examples Lamborghini and Nike and Tesla and all those giant corporations. But what I need you to know about is that you're going to be bashing your head against the wall and you'll be restricted in your growth unless you can be branded. So for example, I have a client in London, England, and he's a dentist. So I branded him as the smiling dentist, and suddenly his business expanded. And he said to me, do I smile more than other dentists? Do my patients smile more than other dentists? I don't know, but it's just, a brand isn't true or not true. This important thing, like when Nike says just do it, is just do it true or is just do it not true? It's actually out of the realm of true or not true. It's not actually part of the equation at all. And so you make up a statement that represents you, like I'm the double your income guy. Does that mean every single client of mine exactly doubles their income? No, there's some slugs that do nothing. There's some overachievers who do 10 times. But I'm known as the double your income guy, so I wrote the book, Double Your Income, Doing What You Love. That's what brands me. When you're branded, for example, by writing a book, people say, you wrote a book? Wow, and they're startled. And that moves you from the bad side of growth to the good side of growth. That's how you grow. You don't grow by bashing your head against the wall. You grow by branding yourself, and the growth comes on its own.
Hello, I'm Lisa Garr. Welcome to The Aware Show. And this segment here is designed to inspire you wherever you are in your life. So there are a lot of, and an enormous amount of changes going on in the world right now. There might be changes going on in your business. We're seeing huge changes going on politically. There's change everywhere. And my guest today says change is the only constant, and he is no stranger to change. Adam Markel is my guest, and he wrote a great book, it's right behind me, called Pivot, The Art and Science of Reinventing Your Career and Life. How many of us are going through that right now? Welcome, Adam. Pick me.
Everybody, two hands up.
My goodness. And if you're not going through that, then everybody's kind of anticipating a change happening. So what is your perspective on this, on constant change?
Yeah, thank you for that question. And I think right now is one of the most rich times. I mean, there's so much going on that is so emotionally charged, and I believe me, because I'm married to my college sweetheart for 27 years. We have 4 kids, 3 of whom are beautiful young ladies. And the youngest of our young ladies, Eden, is 16 years old. And she was they're all very progressive thinking, independent thinking, beautiful, beautiful young ladies.
Wow.
And they're blessing. And they're independent and independent mind. And Eden was really, really caught up in the whole political thing that was going on. And without getting into the details of that, I'll just say, disruption is upon us, change. It is the only constant, and it's the thing that people fear the most or resist the most. And so it's just magical, and it's so rich that all this change is happening, all this opportunity for disruption and for things to be reformatted in some ways. And I know that sounds kind of like, are we trying to make lemonade? And it's, you know, a little bit of that positive thinking, but it's not about that. This is really about science. As you said, the subtitle is The Art and Science of Reinvention, of reinventing things. And that's what our lives are all about. I mean, we're only here because our ancestors were great reinventors. They were great adapters. If they couldn't have adapted to the environment, to the changing environment, we wouldn't be here. The species wouldn't have survived.
You can say that. That's true. That's definitely true. That's true. We would not be here. And think about how many times in your life you have reinvented yourself out of college, out of high school, out of, you know, from, if you're married, from single to marriage. I mean, we have all created and recreated ourselves so many times. Why wouldn't we think it would continue to happen? Maybe that's just another word for growth.
It is. It's absolutely. And the growth can either be sort of a growth by design. So I kind of use in pivot, I talk about pivot by design or pivot by default. And so the growth can be by design because we want to be better, we want to improve. And that's a small percentage of the world, quite honestly. And it's probably a big chunk of that percentage are the people watching your show and listening to you, because they're self-selecting themselves for growth and consciousness and awakening and awareness. And that's just not the majority of the people that I've come in contact with. I spent 18 years in full-time practice law, and I've been a lawyer for more than 20 years. And so I got to see a lot of the worst of behavior from people. I saw a lot of fear-based behavior and that kind of thing. And so, there are people who want to design their life and want to get ahead of the curve, meaning they know change is a constant, and they want to make the changes ahead of time. So if they're not 100% satisfied with their health or their relationships or their job or their business, then you want to be looking ahead of those things to make changes so that they're more fulfilling and more profitable and all of that. Because all you have to do is go look back at 1956 and the Fortune 500 company, the Fortune 500 group was started then. And of that group of 500 companies in 1956, 88% of them are gone. They don't exist.
Wow.
They're gone. But yet the industries are still here. So what does that tell you? It tells you those companies were not built to last, right? They didn't adapt. They didn't reinvent. They didn't innovate well enough to stay, right? To stay afloat or be relevant. And for us individually, in addition to the reinventing by design, there's also a default reinvention, which comes when things change and we didn't plan for it. Or we thought, oh, that change won't happen. So when we elect a new president and people are upset, on one side, and other people are happy on the other, I mean, it was a change that was unexpected for some people, caught people unaware. When you lose a job or your business starts to go in the wrong direction or the marketing is no longer working and the audience is changing, and that's an opportunity. But because it's a change that comes upon us sometimes unexpectedly, it brings up a lot of fear. And what I specialize in is helping people not only to see the creative opportunity in the pivot space, but also how to transcend and get past the fear so that you can actually do something that is, like you said, all about your growth and your evolution. That's what the change is there to birth from us, even in a forced way sometimes.
But how do you stay out of that pain when, you're behind on your bills and you have no certain income coming, when you get stuck, nobody plans for that. It's just something that happens.
Yeah, I think it's such a great question. And the fact of the matter is people go back to a lot of the, we'll stay away from sort of the fear-based habits and the mindset, because that's something I deal with in the book. And you've actually got to get control of this thing, because this is the enemy in many ways, right? But I want to say that people go back to wanting to create a plan, right? That's the security, is to have a plan.
Yes.
And what I teach is that it's not about the plan. It's about the process. And so once you understand that you're in a process and what that process looks like and how to walk through that process, then you are objectively watching the process. It's a bit like, what meditation is for, that it gives you space to observe your mind. And in that space, you know, the divine can present you with new ideas. You can solve problems just in the span of 5 minutes of quiet, of stillness. We've all had that happen. Call it, you know, miracles, call it whatever you want. And so that's a process, not a plan. I think people want to plan their way out of their difficulties.
Yes. Yeah, we do. It's very interesting because the process is where the work happens. The process is where the meditation or that right phone call or something actionable happens, right?
Yes. But
that process.
To embody and embrace the process is special, because in that embracing of the process, like you said, the phone call, the phone rings, the contact happened. I mean, you just don't, you can see it so clearly when you actually have a distance to watch it.
It's true. I mean, again, I look back at how many times in my life that has happened, and the safety net has appeared just as it needed to, or I've been taken care of in some amazing way. Not, you know, survival, but I mean, it's just the universe somehow provides because I'm constantly talking to it. You know, I had this awakening call the other day on my Hay House radio show. And this woman called in, and she, you know, on this Hay House radio, they talk a lot about law of attraction, and Wayne Dyer was on and all that. So she calls in with very law of attraction speak. Like, she really had that rhetoric down. And she was saying she just burned through her entire life savings, and now she's halfway through her 401k, living in a tiny apartment, still practicing the law of attraction. And it made me really realize, oh my God, we have such a level of responsibility when we're talking like this, Adam, to really explain to people. You can law of attraction yourself 50% of the time, but you have got to be in action. Yeah. What is your opinion there?
Yeah, I don't know about you, but I've never sort of sat around meditating and had the earth, you know, move, or had, well, no, I shouldn't say that in California, the earth can move, but, you know, like bags of money never dropped out of the sky on my head when I was meditating. And I know that's making kind of a little light of it, because I believe that it's not an either or. It's not take action only, because I know a lot of people that are frenetically doing things. They're so busy all the time. They never have any stillness. And I know people that, like you say, like this woman, who can sit in stillness and meditate and want to attract, but still not see anything happening. This is where the yin and the yang come together. This is the harmony. Right? This is what the Tao is all about. This is the great teachings of the Bible and everything, that it's an inner and outer game, right? And so we're talking about, what does it take to utilize change? I like to think of it as alchemy. It's like turning lead into gold. So if you're, you know, whatever's going on in your life right now, and people are watching this, maybe they want to make a change to the finances part of their life, or the career part. I mean, more than 80% of people surveyed are not in their dream job, and 55% are looking for a new job. Wow. You know, maybe their career or their business isn't where they want, or their relationships aren't super healthy, or their body's not super healthy. They want to make a change, a pivot. And so to me, it's about, what is the process? And to me, when you look at it carefully, and I kind of go back to the beginning point, I find that most people are challenged because they, in the midst of wanting something new and different, or having something show up that they didn't plan on, like the woman that was talking to you on the show, and she's waiting and waiting and waiting, and she spent all this money for something to happen, and it hasn't happened. It can make a person quite unclear, meaning they just don't know what to do next. Yeah. Confusion. Like, I don't know, to me, in having trained 100,000 people all over the world in our seminars, and, you know, going from a lawyer, workaholic, to leading a company that's, you know, doing transformational training work, people are confused. They don't know what they want. They don't know which way next. They're confused. And what they're lacking is a vision. And clarity is all about how to create vision. And so, you know, to me, that's a fundamental place that the process begins, is like clearing the windshield on your car. You know, I'm from the East Coast originally, and you're out in the rain or the snow and stuff gets on your windshield. And if you're out of windshield washer fluid, you know, that windshield gets caked so that you can't even drive. You got to pull over.
Yeah.
And that's where people are at, I think. They're either stuck or they're slowing down or they're swerving around because they cannot see clearly out of the windshield.
And so is that what you call the vision accelerator? To get that vision clearer faster?
Yeah, that's the term we use for it, is how do you accelerate your vision? Yeah. And to me, that's a special thing, because if you can't see, you can't go fast, for one thing. You can't drive safely. You can't feel safe if you can't see. And truthfully, my own, and I don't know if this resonates with you or with everybody listening to this, but for me, my main goal in life is peace. So I love to live a lovely lifestyle, like nice things. So I like money and I like business and I like to have fun and all that. But ultimately, only because I want to feel good about my life. I want to love my life. I want to be a vehicle for love. And I can't feel love for others if I can't feel it for myself. And I can't feel it for myself if I'm worried, if I'm anxious, if I'm angry.
Yeah.
Depressed. Depressed. So peace is at the root of it. And so that's what drives everything for me, is to be able to get to that place. And I've discovered through my own process of, like you say, going, you know, teacher, lifeguard, lawyer, you know, in the space I'm in now, reinventing numerous times, that when I'm clear, when my vision is clear, I have peace. I feel peaceful because I don't pretend to know how it's all going to work out. It always works out beautifully. I know that. But to know where I'm going makes me feel centered and peaceful.
Now, do you mean to have a clear plan, or do you mean to have a dream? What do you mean? What's the difference?
I don't mean either. I mean, knowing a bit about what motivates you. So your dream, the thing you're passionate about, your purpose is absolutely a piece of that. But it's the process. We're not going back to a planning thing. Because, you know, as soon as in business, right? I've run a company with 80 employees, $20 million a year. As soon as you create a plan, 5 minutes later or 5 minutes after you start the plan has to change.
Yeah.
So the plan is not the answer. The process is the answer. And so to me, the vision accelerator is something that is all about what does it take to actually get clear vision on what you want to do right now to take advantage of what's happening in your life. It could be the change that's all around that you didn't anticipate, or it could be that little voice inside that just says, I need to make a change. Relationship, health, money, business, whatever it is. So we created something that's pretty cool. It's from the book that's called the Vision Accelerator, where I filmed 3 videos. So I've done a lot of training around the world. People pay a lot of money, and that's a cool thing to come and see us, you know, and be facilitated, really. And I love facilitation. That's what I, because you get to get your hands on people, right? And process them through their stuff. And so I wanted to reach more people, and our team did as well. So they said, well, let's take 3 fundamental trainings that you do in a room that could be a couple hundred people or thousands of people, and deliver that training to folks that want to get clear. And so they do the process and the exercise, and I lead them through these videos, and I lead it personally. And we created 3 of those. And then we also created 6, what I call I don't call them, this is kind of old language, but auto suggestions. So it's sort of a reprogramming of the dendrites in the brain, the neural pathways, to understand what the myths are that cloud our vision. Meaning if you believe something that's untrue, then you won't have clarity, right? If you believe that you can't do something, for example, you'll never do it.
Right.
Like if you believe you're not made to be in business, you'll never start a business. Or you're not good at real estate investing, you'll never get in real estate. So it's 6 myths, basic fundamental myths that people believe about themselves that I've learned over the last 10 years. And I created auto suggestions that people can listen when they walk, they run, they're in the gym, to reprogram what it is that they believe about certain things that will create greater vision for themselves.
I love it. I love
Isn't that
it.
cool?
Yes. 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 Oh my gosh, that's so great. I have a little, one of my daughter's little friends said to me, I'm stupid. I don't know how to, I'm not as smart as the other kids. And I'm like, never say that again. And because she's making these decisions at that moment. And so these can undo those types of things. I was looking for something to say other than for her to go right to her head and say, I'm smart. She's not going to believe it, but she needs something to get there.
Yes, it's an unbelieving, and that's exactly it. So you've got to kind of go to the root. You want to, in a garden, you don't just sort of snip the weeds. You got to get down to the root and pull them out. And so that's what this is about.
Fantastic.
So you're right.
Go ahead.
No, I was just thinking, with a girl that age, how many of us started to believe certain things about ourselves at that age or even earlier?
Totally unconscious of that belief too. Her mom was even repeating it, but she, and I have this belief that she is smart. I believe she's smart. And I said, you are not going to get away with that out on my watch. You, just because you think other people are smarter than you doesn't mean you're stupid. Please. And how many of us made those decisions back then, like the decisions you're talking about here? So I love the auto suggestions. What, by the way, what could someone say that has that belief? How could we, like, what are you talking? Just give me an example of what you're talking about.
Meaning, so somebody that believes that they're stupid?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so to me, it's a reprogramming that's necessary. So you have to talk to the brain, and you talk to the brain at various times. Our brains work differently in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening. I mean, you can see it. You can feel your own energy change and shifts. That's why some people say, "Oh, I'm a morning person."
Uh-huh.
So it's the idea that you talk to the brain at various times, and you just tell it something different. We believe are easily believable things that we'll believe about ourselves anyway. But we have to retalk. What we do is learn behavior, program behavior. It's not who we are. And so to unlearn is just as important as learning. I know a lot of people spend thousands and thousands of dollars trying to learn new things, and they do. But unlearning is just as powerful, and it's oftentimes overlooked.
That is a great point. Well, if people would like to learn more about this process and dive into it, you can go to the link below there. It's right there for you, and click on it. It's startmypivot.com/aware, and you'll see it right there. You get the Vision Accelerator program and also how to debunk these myths that are sometimes mostly in the way of our clarity and sometimes just completely unconsciously. And you kind of call those out, right?
That's the insidious part, is that they're kind of running our lives on an unconscious level, so we don't even realize. Truthfully, is that we're experts. We're all experts. And some people look at me and go, I'm not an expert. And that I go, all right, I'm not going to get into that with you. I'm going to prove it to you right now that you're an expert. You're an expert at getting all the results you've gotten in your life thus far.
Uh-huh. Right.
So your relationship, you're an expert at getting the relationship that you've got. You may not like the sound of that, but it's an awareness, right? This is the Aware Show.
Right.
You're an expert at getting the financial results you've got, the business, the business partners, all those kinds of things. And so the only thing that I truly feel inspired to share at this moment, right this moment, is that the change is everywhere. Like you started the show, it's a constant. So the best thing to do, to me, is to understand, learn the process for how to actually alchemize change, turn it from lead to gold, whether it's change that you didn't expect, whatever that looks like, or it's change that you wish to plan for your life and your business or something moving forward. And everything begins with clarity. That's why that Vision Accelerator is so key, because to me, once you can clear the vision, right, clear that windshield, you'll see things you cannot see right this moment. I can't predict what those things will be. I just know the universe is totally on purpose. And so you're watching this for a reason. If you've called to want to create greater clarity and vision, it's for a reason. And what that's going to look like will be up to the universe to kind of guide you as to.
Right. Perfect. Perfect. Well, this is for everyone who's going through any type of change and need clarity in your life. And this is, I mean, I can think of so many people that this would work for, including all of our listening audience. So thank you so much, Adam. You're I got to know Adam one day on a paddleboard.
Never met him before, and here we are in the paddleboard in the middle of a
In Costa
Pacific
Rica.
Ocean. Yeah, in Costa Rica. And we were at a conference together, and just the coolest guy, and there was turtles, and we just had the best conversation. I feel like I've known you for such a long time. For some reason, we just kind of sunk in that moment. And I advise all of your first meetings with people being on paddleboards. Somewhere out in nature. And it just established a deep connection with you. So thank you for being on my show. We have so much more to do together, Adam. Thank you.
I want to say, and I'll be sappy for a second, you are just a lovely, and Lisa, if your community, and I'm just sort of intending that this is the case, that your community is just a reflection of who you are. They're people I want to serve and spend more time with. You are beautiful, and thank you, inside and out.
Thank you. I have heard that about my listeners, that they are so eager to learn, already really like there, and just make changes fast because they get it. And thank you for saying that. I really appreciate that. All right. See you next time, my friend. And remember, for everyone to go to the link below, get started right away. Super easy. Very, very good place to start right now. All right. Until next time, I invite you.
Vision, big vision.
Big vision. Everyone stay aware. Bye-bye.
Hello, my name is Raymond Aaron, the New York Times top 10 best-selling author. But you know what's important in that? It's not New York Times, and it's not top 10, and it's not best-selling. It's the little word you didn't even notice, the little weensy word, the. You might say, the? That's all you got? Yeah. When you change from to the entire world bows at your door and sends you money. Why? Well, hi, what's your name? Bill. What do you do? I'm a dentist. Now, you don't go around saying, dentist, but I want you to hear that word. I'm a carpenter. I'm a internet marketer. Every time you say that, what you are divulging to the other people, even though you don't mean it and don't want to say it, what you're actually getting out into the world is that you're nothing special. Heck, use me, use your sister, use someone down the street. We're all the same. I'm just a dentist. Use any dentist you want. We're all the same. But when you say I'm the dentist, when you say I'm the internet marketer who does a certain thing, when you change yourself from to the, from to the world notices.
Thank you so much for watching this episode of The Aware Show. Please leave a comment below and let me know what you think. And also, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I will give you some of my favorite bonus gifts. So if you want to subscribe also to my newsletter, you can find the link in the description below. Thank you so much, and until next time, I invite you to stay aware.